Welcome to this Catholic bioethics moment. I'm Dr. Bridget Campion, and I'm speaking with Dr. Moira McQueen about foregoing treatment. Moira, according to Catholic teaching, must we use all available medical means to keep people alive?
Well, the answer to that is no. We do not always have to use all means. And the reason for that is I think it applies from a very reasonable source, that sometimes it's not the right thing to do. It's not the right thing physically, and therefore it's not the right thing morally. And even from a Catholic perspective, where we're very clear on the principle of the sanctity of life from conception until natural death, we're still saying there comes a time when natural death is imminent, and that to try and stall something off by using means that will be ineffective, that simply doesn't make sense. And so our teaching is saying that we look at it from the point of view as, will the treatments work? And if somebody's saying, not really, I mean, it goes against common sense to insist on trying it. And on the other side, and even sometimes when the statistics are maybe quite good, if the person says, and I often use chemotherapy as an example, especially if somebody has had chemo once and then the second time if the cancer recurs, which unfortunately happens, the person says going through chemotherapy was worse than enduring the illness, and the person is able to say then, I can't tolerate that, that is too much for me to accept. And the church is saying that is your decision in that area. So it's an interesting bringing together, I think, of what's available medically and what the recommendations are medically, and then on the other side how the person feels about the actual treatment.
So what you're talking then about is the concept of medical futility, in that the treatment simply cannot accomplish what it is meant to accomplish.
Yes.
And you're also mentioning the burden of the treatment, perhaps the risk that is involved, perhaps the side effects that are involved. These are some of the considerations that go into deciding when it is possible, permissible to withhold or withdraw treatment. But there are still people who will take a look at the act of perhaps taking someone off a respirator or saying no to chemo, and people will be looking at the outcome, which is the death of the patient, and wonder, well, isn't this euthanasia? So what would you say to that?
The big difference is that in euthanasia we're usually doing something or omitting something with the intention of causing death. I mean, that the outcome that's desired, that's the reason we're going through it, is that death will occur. When we're talking about foregoing treatment, and maybe it is something like chemotherapy or something like that other people may say, oh, but you could, may keep you alive.
Yes.
But the person is saying, but there are these other considerations that I just can't tolerate this. It's a burden. It's burdensome for me, quite apart from the statistics. But the person isn't saying, I want to die. And it happens every so often, a person stops a specific regimen, but and maybe they've said, okay, you have a year, 2 years to live, and 5 years later the person's still there. The person isn't wanting to die. The person is actually just wanting to stop the treatment and is prepared to accept the consequences, which may be that the person actually dies as a consequence, but not necessarily. So the person is not intending to die by stopping treatment. In that case, that would be a sort of passive euthanasia. But in these other cases, it's a no to the treatment, not a no to life, and those are very distinct categories.
Thank you so much.